House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
It's Tuesday, everybody, so we are talking real estate, and Liz and Gina join me as they always do from RE/MAX Diamond Realty Guam. Ladies, good afternoon. And I would say perception is everything, probably. I mean, that's a well-known rule, like in business and in life. And I know one thing that people probably naively believe or they assume about people in the realty business is, you know, you only work 3 hours a day. You're just showing properties and cutting checks like all day, and you're living the life of Riley, and it's this wonderful thing. But there is a dimension and a component to being a member of the Guam Association of Realtors that I'd like to kind of like discuss today. It's on the very concerted commitment and dedication by each one of the members and its leadership, of course, to really give back to the community. And Liz, as president right now, I'd like you to start. Like, can you maybe give us an overview of exactly how deep that commitment to community service goes as members of GAR?
Well, you know, last week we talked about the grievance committee that they take on cases. Well, with the Guam Association Realtors, our operation is similar to any state in the nation. And we do have committees like the grievance committee, the professional standards. We do have a community service committee. And there's actually many of the committees, legislation. There's a legislative committee. What they do is they look at all the bills that are being proposed and they review them to see what input they could provide to, of course, improve on the bill. Sometimes our group were either notified of a bill that's coming up, or sometimes we don't know about it until the bill shows up. Mm-hmm. So the legislative committee is vigilant in reviewing these bills to see how does it affect our industry and the community in terms of real estate. So they're pretty active with that, and they always provide their feedback. Another committee is community service. I don't know if our community know what we've done in the past. We've provided meals to the homeless. We've done projects with the different schools.
I don't know how they couldn't not know. You guys do something like different. It seems every month you guys are doing some charitable work.
Yeah, and sometimes the work we do, we poll the different schools to see what is in need. If they need school supplies, we provide that. So we're meeting this week. It's a busy week. And next week is going through each of the committees to see what projects they're going to work through for the calendar year. Even Gina, for example, she handles the forms committee. So she reviews, maybe you want to talk about what you do with the forms committee. She incorporates what's needed. Every time there's a change in the law, her job is to make sure our real estate contracts are in place, right, Gina?
Yeah, so Gina, you are Miss Compliance. I mean, that's well understood. And I think this is fitting if you lead this committee.
Well, and I am tasked with, right, so it's myself and I have a committee. It's not just me, but it's a group of people who have volunteered their time. And our goal is to keep our real estate contracts in compliance with the law. For instance, we activated when the Landlord-Tenant Act went into effect. So that was in 2018. And our goal was to bring that part of the law, that new part of the law, into our contract so that we're in compliance with what Guam law says. And then in doing that, we actually took a broader look at the contracts to see what we could do to update it even more. And, you know, what I want to say about the members of the Guam Association of Realtors, realtor members, right, is that majority of us realize that real estate is about service. You know, a lot of people think real estate is about sales, real estate is about making money. That is the end product of what we do, but what we do is we provide a service to the community. We provide a service by working with buyers and helping them understand what the market is doing. So if their goal is to buy a house, buy land, buy a condo, buy a business, what we do is we provide information so that they can make the right decision about what's good for them, what's good for their family. And with sellers as well, that's what we do, is we provide a service to the sellers. This is what the community is doing. This is what the buyers are, this is how buyers are reacting. This is what is available in the marketplace and what is not available. And so with that information, they make better decisions. At least I've always felt that that was, that's what happens, is they make better decisions. So, and that's why, it's important that the association has these different committees, is because we're really a service industry. That is our product, is service. And so it's important that we not just help the clients that we're working with, but that we also help each other as realtors. And that's part of what our committees do. So we help each other as realtors. But I also want to point out that we all have different talents. And so Liz, like every president I think that I've worked with, they tap individuals that are good. Like if Liz tapped me for, I know Liz, you've got another committee that works on, I call it the rah 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 committee, right? They get out there and they help the community in that way. So I could not be in that committee. I would not know how to do rah 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 if you paid me to do it. And this is all voluntary. So of course, we're in the committee.
So Liz is the rah rah champion. Gina is about compliance and make sure that all your T's are crossed and all your I's are dotted.
Yes,
I can follow Liz.
Right, the right tool for the right job, I gotta say.
Yeah, but we even have our professional development committee, which looks through what is needed for education. Our professional development looks at what courses are needed to correct issues that are probably taking place, with our business. So they look at the courses, and then we have it's a great school. The name is Great. And what they do is they implement. So we have one planning group, and Great is the implementation. It's the school that will teach the courses and select the instructors that are suited to teach those courses. So there's so many components to the Guam Association of Realtors that people probably aren't aware of the work we do.
That's also very interesting because like as Gina beautifully and effectively said, it's the group and the membership is about service. And as Liz just said, it's also service to the customer, but also service to its members and making sure that there is ensuring the survivability of the industry, and not like, okay, we had a great year in 2020, 2022 kind of like fell apart and now nobody wants to be a realtor. You guys are actually making sure that there is sustainability, within this group.
Right. So just to point out that when we have a committee chair and their committee members, it is countless hours that they put in to serve on the committee, and then the implementation. So it's not just a title that they take, they actually take action. I mean, when the new form, Gina's working right now on trying to get new forms for our association. So each committee has a specific task. So this week we'll be meeting with them to go over, okay, what are you going to do for the year? Here's the game plan and implementation. So it's not just planning, we have to implement what we start. So 2022 is a time for a lot of recovery, I would say, for many private sector businesses. So we're just looking forward to a great year for 2022.
Absolutely. Now, Gina, if I may, I know I love how Liz said, like, you're chiefly responsible for new forms, but how about talking about making sure that the industry thrives today and tomorrow? What about new blood? How important is it for diversity and ensuring that, the next generation of realtors and people just getting into the business, that, they're trained the right way, and that they take these core values that the members now have and they incorporate it into their own work?
My philosophy on that is an old school philosophy. I believe it's up to the brokers to instill the core values with each and every one of their agents. But on a committee level, on the GAR level, GAR has been spearheading the education of these new realtor members. So if you happen to be in an office where perhaps your broker isn't quite on point or as vigilant about our, like in our office, we're vigilant about education and enforcing the regulations with our agents. But some I have to say perhaps some brokers are not, that this is the truth. And so GAR on a committee level, they really spearhead the education of each and every member who is willing to participate, because this is about participation. There are some classes that the association mandates you have to take, but on the most part, participation is mandatory. I mean, participation is voluntary. It's not mandatory.
Well, and
And
like I
also
said,
have it available.
membership has its privileges, and I think this is a perfect example of that.
That's
Well,
right.
for orientation for new members, there are mandatory courses that they have to take. And it pretty much gives them an overview of what's needed to survive in this business. So we go through that process with them. But again, as Gina puts it, it's totally up to the broker to provide further training, because what you take in your classes to pass is not necessarily utilized in daily application of real estate business. So it's up to each broker to provide that proper guidance, education. And actually, we're going to go through some additional training about responsibilities for brokers and liabilities associated with conducting a real estate business.
Excellent. Well, we got to run, ladies, but I don't know if the word inafamaulic is literally like in your bylaws and everything like that. But it seems that it is abundantly clear that you guys like make sure that you provide service and a variety of them for the customer as well as your members and everything like that. So kudos to the both of you for your leadership and everything. Like, I think GAR's in good hands.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you,
right. Have a
Jason.
wonderful day, everybody. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.